Sharon Durbin Graves, Painting with Acrylics 101.com, welcoming you into my studio here today in Kentucky. Today we're going to talk about values, and I've heard more than one professional artist say that if there's a problem in your painting, more than likely look at the values first. Now this is a chart, sort of, an example of what I did in a class I taught recently. I had an 8-day beginning artist challenge, and this was one of the things that we talked about, was achieving values. Okay, so as you can tell, that we can take the same color, add a different color, maybe a white, maybe a yellow, or if you wanted to go darker, you could add a blue or a purple, and you can get a whole range of values on a few colors, and that will give you depth in whatever is in your painting, and that's absolutely critical. Otherwise your painting will look very, very flat. So if you're looking at your painting and you think it just looks so flat, this is probably your problem. I painted a tree on this side. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit more towards that, and what I want to do, I'm going to show you, it doesn't matter what kind of brush you use, because I'm going to do some tree highlight first, and then we're going to do the leaves. So I used, this was one of the colors, this burnt sienna was one of the colors in the tree trunk. Now if I want to make that tree trunk, okay, my light is coming from this direction today, and when I do a painting, I usually have up in the corner a little arrow like this, reminding myself where the light's coming from. So it's going to be darker on this side. So I'm just going to I'm going to add some purple to that. The burnt sienna, I've got that here. I'm going to add a little bit of blue, a little purple. I want it very dark. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in on one side, make it darker on one side. I'm going to pull it down and then pull it in. You don't want to create a roll of paint anywhere. So if you go like this, you will create that little roll of paint. You need to pull it into the center. Now you can also take that and use that if you wanted a hollow point in your tree. Okay, now right there, it doesn't look too dark. But if I build it up a little bit more and then put some highlight around it, you'll be amazed at what that looks like. So all the way through here is the dark side of the tree. Okay, so now I'm going to clean that out. I'm going to rinse it out and then pinch wipe it. Okay, there's still a lot of paint in there, and I don't care. I do not care. So I'm going to take some more of my burnt sienna, because that's the base of that tree. I'm going to pull it over here, and first I'm going to add some orange to that. Okay, and the light's coming from this side, so now you have to remember that this branch is coming down in here, so I want to go around that branch. So I'm going to pull that towards the center. Now acrylic paint will dry quicker or duller than it actually, when it goes on, it looks a lot brighter than it will end up. So just because this looks kind of bright right now doesn't mean that it will. Because it's a tree, it doesn't have to be solid all the way up into these branches. Okay? And you can put some right on top of this, because the light would be shining down here on that. It would hit this part of the tree as well. Okay, so now I have that little mixture right there. I'm going to add some yellow to a part of that mixture. I'm going to, now see how much darker it is already? As it dries, as acrylic paint dries, it gets duller. So you need, maybe you have to come back 2 or 3 times. Here comes some more light. I'm being careful. I don't want to get too much in there at once. You can always add more, but boy, once you got it on there, it's hard to get it off. Okay, so now remember I said we had that little holler there, and I could make it show up better? There, you can see that in there much better. Okay, I'm going to go on up the tree. I'm going to hop that brush up and down. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm just touching, just getting a little bit going on in there. Okay, so now I've got, this was the original burnt sienna with some orange. Then I added some yellow, and now I'm going to take just a little bit of white and add down in there, and maybe add some more yellow to that. My paint's drying. I'm touching my brush back in the water, tapping it off and adding it to the paint here to get it just a little bit looser. You can use a medium to do that. I seldom use much medium. So here we go. We're brightening up this tree. Now see how much different? Just that little bit. If we hadn't done that, the tree was in pretty decent shape. You know, I mean, it looked okay. But now it really comes to life. That's when you can really see the life in the object. And it does not matter what the object is. Everything needs a shape and a form. Okay? So there you have. That's how you add depth, values. You see, you got one value here, then two, then we put 3 different layers on there. So there's at least 5 different values to give that tree a rounded shape and its form. Without that, it would be very flat. It was still, these branches and everything were still good. The perspective was good. You know, they're not too much in one place. They're fairly shaped out, but flat. So anyway, that's where we are as far as creating value on that. I did want to, I teach an online class. It's called paintingwithacrylics101.com, and one of the modules is on creating form. And so this it was just a circle, but then through use of color, you can give it that rounded shape. Same thing with this. This was a triangle, and with giving it a light to mid to dark all the way across, you can give it a cone shape. And this is the same thing with a rectangle. You can give it a like a shape of a tin can or a glass. Whatever, and then when you add the shadows in, that totally brings a whole nother level of depth to your painting. So you need to remember where your light is coming from. Okay, so if it created light on this side, did it also create a shadow on that side? So thank you so much for being here today, and I hope you enjoyed this, and we're going to paint together again real soon. Have a great day.